So the thing I appreciate the most from these remakes is the team's overall approach, which I have never seen in any video game up to this point. And that is an adaptation. You see, when I play Final Fantasy 7 Remake or Rebirth, it gives me the same feeling as watching The Last of Us TV series. The base of the story is there, but a whole load of differences are piled on, mainly due to a bunch of the original devs being brought in and not wanting to repeat themselves. My favorite story addition in Remake are the scenes with the Avalanche gang of Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. I know it has a fair amount of critics, but if there's one thing I'm a sucker for, it's good old character development. Another change is the fate of Wedge, who actually survives the Sector 7 platefall, but unfortunately only one of his 3 cats do as well. Rest in peace, sweet kitties. On the topic of the platefall, I've heard folks claim that because a majority of slum residents survive, it doesn't seem to have the same impact of the original game. I can fully understand that viewpoint, but in recent years, we've seen what happens to populations whom are left homeless, and it isn't pretty. Suffice it to say, these people's lives will not be fun going forward. However, hope springs eternal. For example, one of the children who survive lightens the mood via music found by the player, and it's honestly one of my favorite side quests in any game. Just a good old reminder of the importance of the arts. Speaking of art, the dance with Andrea Rodea is one of the best things, and good God, Aerith, do you need a cigarette? I'm no smoker, but I suppose I get it because whether he wants to admit it or not, Cloud is serving with this performance. Staying on the topic of gay, Roche is another nice addition. He starts off as just a fling for our twink-coated guts tribute, but as we go through his return in Rebirth, Roche gets more and more obsessed with Cloud to the point where he allows the mad scientist Hojo to inject him with Sephiroth's cells. This of course ends very, very poorly. I wonder if anyone can make a rainbow capitalism analogy with this character. So, witching topics completely, let's talk about the overall world design. Remake is extremely linear to the point where darn near everything is a fucking corridor, which I'm sure is a thought which brings back Vietnam-style flashbacks for certain players. Well, at least there are towns and side quests in this game. And look, one chapter opens up all of Midgard to the player. Well, except for Sector 7 for hopefully obvious reasons. Rebirth, on the opposite appendage, is all about exploration, and it's massive! There's no way they could have made this game fit on a PS4, or at least not to the same scale, and a whole bunch of hidden loading screens. I mean, there probably are hidden loading screens throughout the entire game, but it's amazing how you can go from one part of the world to another, and the only loading you get is the party going on or off the boat. Outside of that, I was able to go from Nibelheim to the lift of North Corel seamlessly, which felt amazing. And yeah, there are no doubt worlds in video games much bigger than Rebirth's, but as someone who grew up with Final Fantasy 7, being able to go from region to region like it's a real location is something I never would have thought possible. I can only imagine what's in store for the third game because if it's as faithful as the first two were, oh man, it's gonna be insanely gigantic! We got the open world plus Midgar and there's still at least one town yet to be explored, and we know that snowboarding minigame is coming. They literally teased it in this game. Oh yeah, minigames. Those are super fun. Most are revamped ones from the original game or remake, but there are a couple of unique ones. For example, the frog minigame where you gotta dodge the blades. Looks easy, but in reality, a real pain in the ass as far as difficulty goes. Another one is dolphin riding, which gives me big wave race vibes, and I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks this way. The speed minigame at the Gold Saucer is overhauled from a roller coaster to a Star Fox clone, and I'm sure an indie dev could turn it into its own game. And the same could be said about Chocobo Racing. Each burb has its own stats which can be amplified with the correct equipment. The course design is also well done, with obstacles being added with each bit of escalating difficulty as well as the skill of the other racers. And the saucer itself is just a joy to explore. A true exploitative capitalist nightmare come to life. Sucking up the planet's literal life force 24/7, all for the sake of making a bunch of money, I mean putting a smile on everyone's faces. I will say though, the intro to the Gold Saucer goes incredibly hard. If you want camp, then here you fucking go. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, more outrageous than this. Just my goodness, man, between all the dancing and beef and Yuffie's hilarious reaction, this might be peak Final Fantasy. Another peak moment in Rebirth is something that's hinted at all throughout, which is the fact that Nanaki, aka Red 13, uses a fake voice to sound older but in reality sounds like a child.
Thanks for keeping watch. I'll only be a sec.
Take your time.
Was it just as good as you were hoping?
It was the finest meat I have ever tasted. Thank you.
Well, Red, how do we look?
Huh?
Tifa looks as majestic as a breaching whale, and you, Aerith, are as luminous as a sea snail.
That your way of complimenting us?
Human beauty is hard for me to assess.
Hey, guys! It's me! I'm back! Nanaki? I can't believe it.
Hey guys, it's me! Who?
He's such a softie.
Yeah, my reaction was pretty similar to Barrett's. And can we glaze these games' soundtracks for just a moment? Nobuo Uematsu, Masashi Hamauzu, and Mitsuo Suzuki all do a stellar job at recreating classic tunes while also composing some original bangers.
I'll take care of him. What do you think of this trick?
Welcome to the Gold Saucer.
Just the fact that every area has its own distinct theme is really refreshing, since so many games in the past decade or so have gone further and further towards either making their music more atmospheric or just having none at all. None at all. Nothing at all. And nothing against those games, but as someone who grew up playing N64, PS1, PS2, and GameCube games, having themes for each area was kind of a given for that era, and you know what? I kinda miss it. If I had to point at one thing that these games all do incredibly well, it's being unapologetically political. Just like the original, these remakes take an anti-corporate, pro-climate, pro-queer, pro-wrestling stance. Okay, that last one may just be me, but god dang is it refreshing to see a game stand up and say with its full chest, fuck fascism. We need this now more than ever, and I can only hope that there isn't any pressure put onto the devs to water down that message in the final entry. The only policy I don't agree with is the odd love for coal. I don't know everything about anything, but what I do know is that coal is terrible for the environment, so trying to make it the fuel source of choice is just, nah. Another great thing about these games is their usage of comic relief. Remake is a bit more on the serious side, whereas Rebirth definitely feels more comedic, but at the same time features some of the bleakest moments. For example, this parade in Junon for Rufus Shinra's promotion to president of Shinra. First off, Shinra is an energy company, and yet, they control the government, including the military, which is just beyond dystopian. And what makes this worse is how many citizens treat it like normal. We see them all hooting, hollering, and celebrating the ascension of this trust fund baby. And to top it off, at one point Rufus fires off a giant fuck-off cannon shot just to show off how much of a macho man he is. I think we all know that in 2025, dude, that if you need to prove that you're Macho Jack, then you're nothing more than a huckster, brother. Speaking of brother, the developing relationship between Barret and Cloud is something fantastic to watch. At first, they're barely on speaking terms with one another, but as they get to know each other, they continue to bond until they become the best of friendos, or so my headcanon says anyways. The moment that cemented their friendship comes after Barrett is forced to gun down his former best friend Dine, who unfortunately had a really bad case of the Mondays. And by Mondays, I mean clinically insane due to Shinra burning down his and Barrett's hometown just so they can blame terrorists and gain favor with the general public. Lovely people, them! After the whole ordeal, Cloud is there to genuinely comfort Barrett, which is just so hecking wholesome. I could keep going on and on and on with this Glaze Fest for hours, but at this point, I'm pretty sure you all get the picture. These games rule and are not just worth playing, but replaying as well. And just for the record, I have replayed Remake on both PS4 and 5 multiple times over, and this is like my third playthrough of Rebirth. Oh, I forgot to talk about the Zack Fair sections. They're fine. That's about it. Thanks for watching, really sorry for the delay, gotta love having to buy a new laptop, and the next video will be made much quicker than this one.
You look like you were having fun.
Rip it.
I could get used to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Hey! Rip it.
Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit.